But then I had to do so much typing in the end, because I was in the civil service. I went to work at a solicitor's when I left school in 1941, July 21st, 1941, I left school. And I went to work at a solicitor's, Barrow Secree, Safford and Co., which was just on the left as you leave Albert Square, just the first building on the left. There's a bank on the corner of Cross Street and John Dalton Street. Like that, and I worked in the first doorway along Cross Street there, up on the first floor, and you could see, when you were up there, you could see all across to Albert Square, like. But we had a whole, all offices on the first floor, so I used to go into the boss and take shorthand there. And then I moved, just for more money, just round the corner in John Dalton Street on the right hand side. I went to the Fine Cotton Spinners and Dobblers Association Limited. That was number 6. Now I've forgotten the name of that street. Anyway, it was number 6 there on the left hand side, and I went as a secretary there. I was in the secretariat thing, in the group of us, 6 of us that were there. And the war was on then, of course. And so I was there. And then my father had the idea I ought to go in the civil service, go in for the exam. It was all for education. So I went and sat for the civil service exam and passed that. So then I got a job with the Ministry of Food, and that was all rationing and things, but I was in the infestation, well, not originally, it was the infestation branch, I suppose, yes, right from almost the beginning. I was only there a few months when they changed its name to the infestation branch. It was the Ministry of Food, but it was all dealing with infestation aboard ships that came into the port of Manchester. And my bosses all used to go, they were all university people. They used to go on board every ship that came in and inspect all the food for rats and mice and insects. So that's what it was, all insects, and doing reports on every ship that came in and everything that was in them ships. They used to go all in the containers and whatnot and examine them all, get samples and look at them in the microscope and thing. So it was all rats and mice and insects and moths, and we had them all on little boxes on pins, all stuck, on pins, display boxes of them all, and they were all Latin names, and I used to like that. And at church they used to be amazed because I at one time knew there was over 100 of them, names all in Latin. They all had these pseudospitella and things like that. They all had very fancy names, these insects. And they used to say, "Tell us some more." They used to be excited at me naming insects, when I look back and think, how exciting.
So you worked at Salford Docks then, did you? Were you in the dock office there? Or
no, there was in Spring Gardens we were then, 23 Spring Gardens.
Right.
And then we moved out to Didsbury. Well, this first house behind where all the shops are now, on this Clyde Road, was this great big mansion house, and the Ministry of Power was downstairs, and we were upstairs. We were Ministry of Food. We were classed as. And so I was there actually when VE Day was announced. I can visualise it now, I was sat on the steps of this big house at lunchtime. There was 4 big steps up to the front door, and lots of rooms, you see, and somebody was listening to the radio that was on the ground floor, and I was busy writing cards or a letter, sat on the steps actually, and somebody came out with the 1 o'clock news on. They had the news on, the 1 o'clock news, and they kind of came running out and said, "They've just announced VE Day," you know. And I jumped up, and it wasn't a fountain pen I had, it was pen and ink. And I knocked the bottle of ink down those steps, went all over the steps. I jumped up, knocked the ink over. And it was there till we left that building. That stain took an awful lot of rain.
Yeah.
Never completely went. I could still see it when we left that building, and we went back to town again then.